Don't wanna be a richer one.
Known for a while, there are going to be a lot more changes in Prince Caspian than in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and to some degree, I understand that, because it's not as cinematic of a book. I'm even okay with a lot of it, because Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was just classic. You know, even though it's only like my fourth favorite Narnia book, there are just so many things they just couldn't change because they just couldn't. You know? And Prince Caspian, it's not because Prince Caspian, it's not because I don't like Prince Caspian as much as the Wardrobe book, it's just because it's not as classic, so I'm okay with them having more changes to Prince Caspian. But Fantasia Kitty, one of the administrators at NarniaWeb.com, saw that the movie Storybook was on sale at Family Christian stores, and she listed a lot of changes, and I immediately ran, the next day we went to Family Christian to see what they had, and they did have it. We looked through it, and we're going to look at some of the changes they made. So, let us begin. First off, just as it was pretty much confirmed, the movie does begin with Cornelius waking up Caspian and saying, you've got to go, you're in danger, blah, blah. And Caspian, it's still unclear to me if they're going to even include anything that happened before this. Like, we know that Nurse has been cut out. Are they going to even bother telling about how,
They can just say that, Cornelius told them all about it.
Yeah, but all the things with, like, I don't know, are they going to bother telling anything that happened to Caspian before Miraz's son was born? I wonder, all that stuff in the book.
They really don't need
and what about the scene with Caspian and Cornelius on the tower? That's such a great scene.
Oh.
Or maybe he'll take him up to the tower right here.
Oh, well
we'll see.
He does in the book, actually.
Yeah, that's true. He does. You're right. But still, this the whole like Tarva and Allenville when they see those stars. It's such a memorable scene in the book. I wish they could get that in there. And but anyway, he gives Caspian the horn. Says use it only at your greatest need. And Caspian's pursued by Telmarines. We know all this. Caspian somehow escapes and gets knocked on the head. And the reason for blowing the horn is different than we thought in the book. What's going to happen here? It looks like Caspian is knocked out, then he wakes up, and he's probably seeing double, and he sees Nickabrick. It looks like Nickabrick, Trufflehunter, and Trumpkin, according to the.
In the pictures, it just looks like Nickabrick's
right, but according to the report, it was the three of them because Nickabrick wants to kill Caspian, but then the other two stop him because they recognize the horn, and Caspian sees the three of them coming towards him. He's just like and he blows
that's not
it.
his greatest need.
Whatever.
Break.
That's the thing. The thing about this change is that first off, it just seems a little weird. Somehow, it just seems kind of forced, like.
Oh yeah, like he just woke up from being knocked out. Oh, I better blow the horn.
Well, he might.
Be that quick.
He might be desperate.
He wouldn't have that much quick thinking just waking up.
Well, I don't know. We have to see exactly what the context is to judge that. But the thing is, it's not as logical that the horn would call the Pevensies. It might call Trufflehunter and Trumpkin to stop Nickabrick from killing him, possibly. But in the book, it's a very intentional, we're going to lose this war, we need some help. It's a very organized, intentional thing. It makes perfect sense that it would call the Pevensies, And here, it doesn't make as much sense that it would call the Pevensies. He just escaped, he's not even the leader of the Narnians yet. And so it doesn't make as much, when the Pevensies make that connection, oh, that's why we were here, it still doesn't quite make as much sense, and that's why I don't like this change. And, they're doing it to try to bring the Caspian and the Pevensies together sooner, because in the book there's very separate storylines, and in the movie they want to bring them together sooner. I understand that. Maybe this is the only way. Maybe there really isn't a better way to do it. But there are a couple pros, but I think there's more cons than pros in this. That's the impression I'm getting. It's confirmed that Trumpkin gets captured here. We'd heard a rumor about this a long time ago from auditions, and I immediately said, I bet you that's what they're going to do, and it just made sense. And so Trumpkin's going to be captured here.
It's not that big of a change. He gets captured in the book. Big deal.
Yeah, in the picture I saw where Trumpkin actually meets Miraz. He actually goes on trial in Miraz. Miraz is like, courtroom or whatever.
Miraz isn't actually much taller than he is.
I wouldn't say that, but Trumpkin looked kind of silly, I thought, in that picture. He was all this color, and then I contrasted it with the Telmarine design. Maybe that's intentional.
He looks almost like an elf.
Yeah, there's just something weird about the way Trumpkin looks. But so Trumpkin gets captured there, it's confirmed.
Maybe.
At some point, we transitioned to the Pevensies, and the first picture that I saw of them, Edmund and Peter were on a platform, and they were fighting with some other random boy on the platform. It looked like Edmund had him
Edmund
had on us to headlock.
had
Looked like
a
Peter was getting ready to
wrist lock.
punch him. That's what it looked like.
No,
And
Edmund was grabbing onto his wrist, and
I'm not making
Peter's
this up.
going,
They were like beating some kid up, and I read the text, and it basically said that they long to be kings and queens again.
oh
and
yes, they're going to conquer the boys' jacket.
yeah, and so we kind of knew that they were going to do the whole it was a difficult year for them, but here it's just actually like I don't know why this would prompt them to fight exactly, but apparently Lucy or Susan or someone breaks it up, and apparently according to the book, Lucy says, "Remember Aslan said once a king or queen in Narnia, always a king or queen in Narnia," and then Susan says something like, "Oh, these are our lives now. We just got to accept it," and then they get whisked off. This is just more stupid than it is an adaptation problem. I think what they're...
Why do you need this?
Well, the reason they need it, I think, is that they want to... The book does kind of set it up as...
Usually people who are depressed sit around on couches. They don't go boxing somebody.
Well, what they're trying to do is, in the book, they do set it up as kind of a depressing, oh, it sucks that we're going back to school, and, oh, Narnia, that's kind of how it does it. And what they're trying to do, I think, is take that whole theme of return, which I said in a previous video is so important, the whole idea of return, and make it more powerful in that, life sucks, and it's been a difficult year, and we're returning to Narnia, It just makes the whole return a little more powerful. I see that. This just seems a bit excessive, having them and I don't know, maybe it's just like a little scuffle or something. I don't know exactly what the reason is.
What on earth would he say? I mean...
I don't know. That's what I just don't... I've just seen one picture, we don't really know the context of it. So as a general idea... Yeah, I can see.
I'd almost think it'd be Eustace, but that doesn't.
Yeah,
make sense.
I can see this.
Teasing them about Narnia.
I can see this adding to the whole idea of return, making it even more powerful when they actually do get back to Narnia. But I said this in a video a long time ago when we first heard about how they were gonna, it was a difficult year for them, and they wanted to talk more about what it was like being a king and then going back to being a normal kid. And I've said before that doesn't really seem relevant to Narnia. Like the Narnia books, they were just never about that. I think this is. Adamson has talked a lot about empowerment. I think one of the things that makes the book great to him is that, they're in this world where they can't do anything. They're transported into a world where they do have the power to change the situation. In a sense, I understand what he's saying there, and that it's...
Why do you need to punch somebody?
I mean, when you're a little kid, it's definitely exciting to read that, or stories about little kids, doing great things. But this just seems a bit excessive to me. I can see it working, but right here, it just seems a bit excessive, is all I'm saying. So then, the last change I think we're going to talk about is Caspian. At some point shortly after he meets the three of them, maybe when they're on the way to the dancing lawn, Telmarines find Caspian and Trufflehunter, and they run after them. And Caspian, in one of the little storybooks, it wasn't in the movie storybook, it was in a different one called Caspian's Army, actually puts Trufflehunter over his shoulder and starts running, which seems a bit weird. And turning the Telmarines are just about to get them.
Why would he want to rescue Trufflehunter? I mean...
Why wouldn't he?
Well, why would he care? I mean...
He just met him. And
Trufflehunter just almost killed him.
Trufflehunter didn't.
Well, I know.
Trufflehunter rescued him.
I know, but he was, an accomplice, really.
I don't think so.
If I were Caspian,
this is after
think of him as
this
an
is
accomplice.
after they've had a long conversation about it in
then
his
why
den.
are they outside?
This is a few scenes later, because time passes.
Still, why would they be outside? I mean...
Dave, this is days after Caspian gets knocked on the head, it looks like.
Maybe.
So apparently this is where Reepicheep is introduced. Reepicheep comes out of nowhere and beats off the Telmarines, and apparently the way it works is one of them falls, and it's like, what? Another one falls, like, what? And then Reepicheep is introduced. No, this isn't in the book, but because I, as a fan, know that Reepicheep is a popular character, I can see this being a real stand-up and cheer moment, like, Reepicheep, they've come up with a cool little entrance for him, and it's not in the book, and it's a little bit cheesy, I guess, but because he's such a popular character, I can see this being a really, really fun, exciting moment, all Narnia fans gotta stand up and cheer for this moment when maybe they'll have some big dramatic kind of panning shot to Reepicheep or something. But, not in the book, and I can see it being cheesy, but I can also see it being really, really cool. But there are definitely a few more changes that I did not have time to discuss in this, and one especially big one.
Just watch part 2.
Yeah, I didn't have time. So the next video is going to be a continuation of this, talking about a couple more of the changes they made that we've learned about. And sooner or later, I recently got a hold of some of the Narnia toys, and pretty soon within the next few days, we're going to do a review on the Narnia toys. So stay tuned for that.
Tomorrow.